Level 1, Episode 5, Magic Circle and Working in the Round. Most people get a bit worried when the pattern says Magic Circle. Don't panic. It's really not that different from your usual starting loop. So when you're hooking on, you go round your fingers, you go under the first one and you pull the second one through. Now, instead of tightening those tails, which causes that first one, you're going to automatically work your first stitch height. Now we're working single crochet, so that is just a single one. So now you've got your one, you are going to work across those 2 threads of yarn. Here's your information for round 1. So you're working in multiples of 1. Your pattern is going to be a single crochet for each section of the pattern, yeah? So your formula is going to be 1 times 6. So that's going to give you a total stitches of 6 in your first round. So here we go. We're going to work single crochets and we're doing 6 of them. And make sure, as I said before, that you're working over the 2 threads of yarn. Let's check our stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pull close that magic circle. So pull on the shorter loop and you'll see it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Pull it as tight as you can. And now we're going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that you made. Make sure you're going in that first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. There it is. Go under those top stitches. Go through both of them and work a slip stitch. Now slip stitch is simply, move that out of the way, is simply yarning over, pulling it through the stitch and then through the loop that's on your yarn, and that is your slip stitch done. Okay, give it a tug, make sure it's nice and tight. We'll move on to round 2. Now this is going to be worked in multiples of 2, and the pattern is going to be 2 stitches in the same stitch. That will be your increase. So your formula is 2 times 6, which gives you a total stitches of 12. So new round means you're going to work your stitch height, which again is 1 in this case. And now this time you're going to work 2 stitches into each stitch of round 1. Okay, so find that first stitch, and that's where we're going to work our single crochet. Sometimes that first one can be a little tight because you've slip stitched. So make sure you find the right one. So there's our first single crochet, and in the same stitch we're going to do another one. So we've now got 2 single crochets in that first round stitch. Okay, so find the next stitch, and again you're going to work 2 single crochets because you're increasing the size of your round from 6 to 12 stitches. Stitch, and we're going to work all the way around till we get to the end. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got our 12 stitches. You just need to slip stitch into that first single crochet we made on this round. So go through, pull your yarn through, and then pull it through the loop that's on your hook. That's your second round done, and we'll move on to round 3. Now, round 3 is in multiples of 3. Your pattern is going to be single crochet followed by 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That will be your increase. Your formula is 3 times 6, which gives you a total stitches of 18. So again, you're going to do your stitch height, and then we're going to do our pattern. So in that first stitch, we're going to work our single crochet in there, and then in our next stitch, right there, we are going to work 2 single crochets for our increase in this round, and that's going to move us from 12 stitches to 18 stitches. So again, we work that pattern. So first stitch, single crochet, just 1, and then the next stitch will be your increase. So you'll do your 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and you're going to work that pattern all the way around, and then when you get to the end, we're going to work our slip stitch. So let's check our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right, so we can close that and move on to round 4. So round 4 is in multiples of 4, and your pattern is going to be single crochet, and then your increase of 2 single crochets. Your formula is going to be 4 times 6, which gives you a total of 24 stitches for that round. So let's find that very first stitch of round 3, and we're going to work our single stitch. And then in the next stitch, again, you're going to work a single stitch. And then in the next stitch is where you're going to do your increase. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in this same stitch. And that's going to take our rounds total from 18 to 24 stitches. So again, work that pattern. Single crochet, and then your 2 single crochets for your increase. And that will be round 4 all the way around. So I'm hoping by now that you've got the patterns. Okay, so for each round, you're basically adding a single stitch at the beginning of the pattern. So you've got a single for round 1, you've got your increase for round 2, then you've got your single stitch and your increase for round 3, and then you've got single, increase round 4. So it would be single, increase for round 5, and so on and so on. So now we're going to hook off. Now I have shown you this in a previous video, so if you haven't seen that one, go back and check that out. That would be episode 3 you're looking for. And I'm going to give you a couple of options for weaving in your ends. Okay, so stay tuned and we'll have a look at that. So for your first option for weaving in ends, we're going to use a crochet hook. So we're going to move that tail that we've just cut from the down to the back and through the back of your work using your crochet hook. So we're going to move all the way down there. So you're going to put your hook through the back of a stitch, grab your tail, and just pull it through. Okay, all the way through. And we're going to do that a few times through a few different stitches. And as you can see from the front, you can't really see it. Okay, so we're going to work that all the way down, just through there. And you only need to do about 3 or 4 stitches. Okay, and then we'll work on the tail from the magic circle we made in the beginning. And I'll show you a different way to do that. So again, you're going to put your hook through the back of a stitch, grab the tail and pull it through. And it's as simple as that, really. Just do that 3 or 4 times. And I'll show you how to fasten it off so it's a little more secure. Most people don't, to be honest with you, but I like to just double check everything's going to stay where it's going to stay and everything's going to look as neat as it can look. So on that last one, you're going to pull the thread through, but instead of pulling it all the way, you're going to make it so that it's a loop onto your hook, and then you're going to do a hook off again. So you're going to wrap the yarn over the hook and pull it through itself, basically. And then you're just going to give that a little tug, tighten that up, check that it looks okay from the front. Yep, looks good. And then we're just going to snip off the rest of that tail. Job done. So the second option for weaving in your ends is to use a yarning needle. Okay, and this is a lot quicker because you can go through more than one stitch at a time. So literally just thread your needle with the tail. It can be a little tricky, depends on what yarn you're using. There we go, I got it. And then we're literally just going to sew that end in through the back of some of those stitches. And like I said, you can do 2 or 3 stitches at a time. So it does work out quicker. Pull it through. Just going to do a couple more. And then I'm going to show you how I fasten that off more securely. Again, you don't need to do that. It's probably just me being over the top, but better safe than sorry in my opinion. So we're going to put it through, but instead of pulling it all the way through, we're going to push it back through itself, through the little hoop that it's making, and then we're going to take it off and give it a tug. And again, you're going to want to check that it looks okay from the front. Yeah, that looks fine. All sealed up nicely. So that magic circle shouldn't come undone now. Touch wood. Cut off the tail and you're all done. And that's pretty much your magic circle. Now, like I said, we've only done 4 rounds here, but you can do it as large as you like. Just remember your pattern increase and you'll be fine. Hope you enjoyed the video anyway, guys. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when the next video's out. Like, comment and share with your crochet friends. And I'll see you next time. Happy hooking!